Good morning to fellow students. Good afternoon to fellow students, and welcome to YSF talk. My name is Faiz Zailani, and today we'll be talking about evolution of cells. Evolution is basically the process where living organisms are believed to develop from simpler life forms on Earth. And today I'll be only talking about the most important transition in evolution, which is the evolution of cells. Without further ado, I'll begin with describing and explaining some of the different types of cells. There are two types of cells, which are prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are divided into multicellular cells and unicellular cells. For an example of multicellular cells are plants and animals, which also includes us. For unicellular cells, it includes fungi and Prokaryotes. For prokaryotes, there are only unicellular cells. However, which is archaea and bacteria. However, there are some bacteria that could work together as a colony, achieving a function together as different types of cells. Now we'll talk about what is prokaryotes, and later on what is eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are known as the simplest form of a cell. Its size varies from 0.1 to 5.0 micrometer. Its features include cell wall made of myelin, which is different from the cell wall found in plants. In plants, their cell wall is made out of cellulose, which is a polymer of sugars. Myelin, or peptidoglycan, is a polymer which is made up of amino acids and sugars. It has plasma membrane, cytoplasm, circular strand of DNA, which is different from in humans, as we have a linear strand of DNA, and size of ribosome of 70S, or also known as 18 nanometers. For eukaryotes, it is believed that eukaryotes are evolved from prokaryotes, and I will talk about that later on. Its feature includes, it has a linear chromosome, an 80S or 22 nanometers of ribosome, and numerous membrane-bound organelles. For example of numerous membrane-bound organelles such as mitochondria and the Golgi body, or the Golgi apparatus. And it has a distinct nuclear membrane which protects the genetic material, or DNA, mixing with the cytoplasm of the cell. Around 2.5 billion years ago, also known as the Archean eon, Earth are only colonized by prokaryotes, which are archaea and bacteria. This means that there's 2.5 billion years ago, there's no such thing as dinosaurs, complex life forms, and even plants. And why is that? And also, they are not energy efficient. Prokaryotes are known to be not energy efficient compared to eukaryotes. This is due to limited concentration of mesosome of cell wall. Mesosome, which is this, are basically the inner folding of cell wall of a cell. And these sites are where cellular respiration occurs. You might wonder, what if we increase the size of a cell, which means there will be more mesosomes available, more inner folding of the cellulose cell wall. But the problem is, with increasing size of the prokaryotes, this means that there will be more energy demand to maintain the large size, which is not desirable for a simple unicellular organism. And you might be wondering, if this is a drawback for prokaryotes, how did eukaryotes evolve from this cell? And there comes endosymbiosis. Endosymbiosis is basically how a cell could live inside another cell by deriving mutual benefits from each other. Scientists predicted that archaea engulfs a bacteria around a billion years ago. Instead of digesting the bacteria, the archaea let the bacteria lives inside it. And since the archaea indirectly produce or give a perfect environment for the bacteria to grow, this causes the bacteria to focus on producing ATP solely for the host cell or the archaea. And most of the metabolic functions of the bacteria stops and only produce ATP. And this is how eukaryotes arose. As you can see here, this is an aerobic prokaryote and a photosynthetic prokaryote. And from these prokaryotes, chloroplasts and mitochondria exist. And this event is shown on the Tree of Life, which is proposed by Charles Darwin. Without this event occurring here, this eukaryotes will not exist, which means if endosymbiosis did not occur a billion years ago, Earth by now will mainly consist of unicellular cells and would be empty to the naked eye. And how do scientists prove this theory? Well, they compare the plastids and mitochondria to bacteria. What are plastids? Plastids are basically the membrane-bound organelles, or also known in cells. An example of it is chloroplast, which is found in plants, required for photosynthesis. From this comparison, they found out that they have a close relationship by genome comparison. They compared the circular DNA in mitochondria and plastids to bacterium, and there's a close similarity to their genetic makeup. They also have a similar size of ribosome, which is 70S, which is common in prokaryotes. And they form similar way as bacteria and archaea by binary fission. Binary fission is another type of cell division, but it only focuses on prokaryotes only. There are a type of cell division which is the same as meiosis and mitosis, but binary fission is only special case for prokaryotes or unicellular prokaryotes. And since eukaryotes arose from this evolution, this gives eukaryotes a slight upper hand other than to the prokaryotes. However, this is still not enough, as there are still small cells and their functions are limited, even though they could grow as big, but they are still not efficient enough, which is why multicellularity arose. Multicellularity arose around 1 billion years ago, and it has a slight advantage over the unicellular cells. One of them is they have a longer lifespan, as cells can be replaced. Like, even a cell dies, the cells could be replaced, which prevents the whole multicellular cells as a whole dying, or cease to exist. And there are more tasks can be done, as each cell could be specialized and do different tasks at the same time. For example, the outer cell of a multicellular organism could provide protection for the inner cells, and the inner cells could focus on producing gametes, or even focus on metabolic activities such as photosynthesis or even respiration. Now, how does multicellularity arose? One of the most accepted theory by scientists is the colonial theory. Colonial theory suggests that during a cell division, instead of daughter cells divided perfectly at the end of cytokinesis, they fail to separate divide completely, and hence each of the daughter cells are attached to each other. This will then produce a colony of cells that are attached together, which is this, and they could work together by specializing each of them and giving each cell a different task. And over time, germ cells will be produced. Germ cells are basically gametes, which allows these types of cells or multicellular organisms to produce more in the future or to exist furthermore in the future or pass their genes in the future. And that is all from me. Thank you very much. Any questions? Ellen? Okay.
Around how long ago did humans first exist? Or how did the first humans become humans? As in, from the evolution of Charles Darwin, he proposed that monkeys became humans. So during this evolution stage, at what point would you consider human?
Well, to determine what is human or not, it depends on their body and, for example, their skull cavity or the size of their brain. Humans are basically Homo sapiens and which evolved from primates. There are different types of primates, and each of them have different distinct characteristics which are far more different than humans. And you can compare that to human skull and a billion or a million years ago primates, so-called primates. So a human can only be determined by their distinct differences of their body, I guess. Any more questions?
Why do fishes evolve first compared to humans?
Well, from my understanding, cells starts from the it starts from the first complex multicellular will be the aquatic creatures, which then develops into the amphibians. And that process took a long time, and these evolved creatures, fishes, as you said it, begin more develop complex organs, or maybe complex organs such as lungs. They learn to live between land and water, and eventually they become specialized to live on land, and a few millions of years they develop into humans. Evolution is a long process. Okay.
So, evolution is based on the environment around it, right?
You could say that.
Okay, then why would fishes want to evolve to land creatures when they're already comfortable underwater?
Well, if you think about it, most of the multicellular complex life forms will live only on the water or oceans or lakes. So this may provide maybe shortages of food supply or imbalance in the ecosystem of the sea. So a mutation may occur which gives benefit for some fishes to breathe on land, and they might see new opportunities or find new opportunities of food on land rather than in water. So this may give them an upper hand rather than the fishes, as we say. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so
Why does evolution chooses human as the smartest being on Earth but not other animals?
how about well, it may depends on how we have consciousness. We know how to, our brain constantly changes throughout the evolution of primates. And over the years, our style of thinking is basically the same as animals. And then consciousness occurs. And there are many different theories how humans develops or Homo sapiens develop consciousness. This consciousness is very important, like some humans can know when danger is close or how to protect their youngs. And this is a good thing. This means that their species are considered to be more smarter than the others. They know when times are dangerous and when it is safe to live in the area. So that's I think that.
I have one more question.
Okay.
Can human evolve again?
Well, for now it's uncertain, but it is possible. Like right now, we are constantly evolving. An example of evolution, a mutation, basically. We're constantly mutating. An example of mutation would be cancer cells, development, thickening of the skull, for example, which is a mutation. Hemophilia. All of these mutations are considered to be a disadvantage to humans. However, over time there could be a mutation which puts benefits onto humans. For example, having thicker skin or more production of millenium skin, which could protect us from UV rays with the depleting ozone right now.
Is cancer an evolution? Is it a failed evolution?
Well, we don't know for sure until billions of years from now. It is a mutation though. And most evolution occurs from mutation. And only a successful mutation will continue to be passed on to the next generation and become a new part of part of us, a new species of us, or maybe a new characteristics for humans. Good. No more questions? Okay.
Is mutation the same as cell evolution?
Oh. Well, evolution is basically a change in how an organism changed from the older organisms like a few years ago. Oh wait, no. Okay, evolution is basically the process by where living things develop from earlier life forms. So for this to occur, yes, mutation is important. So I would say mutation is one of the catalysts for evolution to occur. It is a random process and could lead to evolution in the end. Question?
So evolution is only defined as an organism that changes to be better than the previous one.
No, in general, it is just a change in characteristic of an. What is your question again? Can you repeat it?
And then evolution is only defined as an organism that changes to become better than their previous one.
In a way, yes. Which is always some people confuse mutation and evolution. That's the same thing. If there are no further questions, this talk will now end. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Faiz, for the great choice of topic. So I think that is all for today. Thank you for attending our YSF talk. And if any one of you is interested in giving a talk or publishing an article for our newsletter, please do see Mr. On or any of the YSF members that you know. So thank you. Have a great day.